He mocked the human's size, then saw the alpha predator was his pet commander. Zexathol towered over the docking bay, his 8-foot crystalline frame casting prismatic shadows across the metal floor. His species, the Velthari, had dominated this sector of space for 3 millennia, and he wore that authority like armor. When the small vessel requesting emergency docking transmitted its distress signal, he had expected another tribute-seeking merchant or desperate refugee. He had not expected a human. The creature that emerged from the battered ship barely reached Zexthol's chest. Its skin was a pale pink, covered in what appeared to be synthetic materials rather than proper bioarmor. No natural weapons were visible. No claws, no venomous spines, no acid sacs. The human's eyes were laughably small, lacking the heat-sensing organs that any respectable predator possessed. "State your business, small one," Zexthul rumbled, his voice resonating through the translator implant. Several Velthari dock workers gathered around, chittering in amusement at the pathetic specimen before them. The human straightened, showing no sign of the submission that other species displayed in Velthari presence. "Captain Marcus Webb of, the cargo vessel New Horizon. We took damage from pirates 3 systems back. Need repairs and supplies." "Pirates?" Zexthul's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his kind. What could such tiny creatures possibly carry that would interest real predators? Marcus gestured toward his ship with a casual wave. "Just some medical supplies for the colony on Kepler 442b. Nothing that would concern the mighty Velthari." The mocking tone wasn't lost on Zexthul. His crystalline hide flared with indignant color patterns. "You dare show insolence? Do you not comprehend what stands before you? I am Apex Evolution, a perfect hunter, engineer, warrior. Your entire species could not match a single Velthari in combat." "Is that so?" Marcus tilted his head with genuine curiosity rather than fear. "What makes you so certain?" Zexthul spread his forearms wide, each one ending in razor-sharp talons that could slice through starship hull plating. "Observe my natural weapons. My exoskeleton can deflect plasma bolts. My strength can crush titanium. I can see in 17 different spectrums and track prey across entire star systems." He gestured dismissively at the human. "You have none of these gifts. How does such a weak species even survive?" Marcus smiled. An expression that Zexthul had learned indicated either submission or madness in most species. On humans, he was beginning to realize, it meant something else entirely. "We survive the same way we've always survived," Marcus said, reaching into his jacket. "We make friends." The high-pitched whistle that emerged from the small device in Marcus's hand was barely audible, but every Velthari in the docking bay suddenly went rigid with an instinctive terror they hadn't felt in generations. The sound that answered from within Marcus's ship was not a whistle. It was a roar that shook the station's superstructure and sent primitive fear racing through every civilized creature within a kilometer. Zexthul's confident posture crumbled as something massive moved within the cargo bay of the small human vessel. "What?" Zexthul stammered, his translator struggling with the quantum harmonics of absolute terror. "What is that sound?" "That," Marcus said, still smiling as heavy footsteps approached the ship's cargo ramp, "is Duchess." The ramp lowered with a pneumatic hiss, revealing darkness within. Then the darkness moved. What emerged defied every law of evolutionary sensibility that Zexthul had ever learned. The creature was easily 12 feet long and stood 7 feet at the shoulder, covered in midnight black fur marked with silver stripes. Its head was massive, filled with teeth designed for crushing bone. Its eyes, predator eyes that had evolved for the hunt, swept the docking bay before settling on Marcus with unmistakable affection. "Terran Siberian tiger," Marcus explained, casually as the apex predator padded over to him and bumped its enormous head against his shoulder in greeting. Genetically enhanced for space travel, of course. Duchess here is actually pretty small for her subspecies. Zexthul couldn't speak. Every fiber of his being screamed that he was in the presence of a perfect killing machine, something that could end him in seconds. His evolutionary programming, honed over millions of years, identified the tiger as an alpha predator beyond anything his species had ever encountered, and this tiny human was scratching it behind the ears. "The pirates, you mentioned," Zexthul managed to croak. "What happened to them?" Marcus's smile widened. "Well, they made the same mistake you just did. They judged us by our size instead of our capabilities." He gestured to Duchess, who was now lying on her side, purring like distant thunder as Marcus rubbed her belly. "See, humans learned a long time ago that we didn't need to be the biggest or strongest. We just needed to be smart enough to convince the biggest and strongest to be our friends." "But why would such a creature—" Zexthul found himself backing away involuntarily. "Bond with us?" Marcus completed the question. "Because we understand something that apparently most apex predators in the galaxy don't. Power isn't about what you can destroy, it's about what you can protect. Duchess here was rescued as a cub from poachers. I raised her, fed her, kept her safe. In return, she keeps me safe." The tiger rolled to her feet and fixed Zexthul with a stare that conveyed exactly what would happen to anyone who threatened her human. The commander felt his knees buckle. "Humans don't survive because we're the strongest," Marcus continued, running his hand along Duchess's flank. "We survive because we're really, really good at making friends with the things that are stronger than us. And lately, we've been making a lot of friends throughout the galaxy." Zexthul looked around the docking bay and realized that every single one of his subordinates had either fled or was pressed against the far walls, as far from the tiger as possible. He, the mighty apex predator, was cowering before a creature that was, according to the human, just a pet. "Your repairs," he whispered. "Consider them complimentary." Marcus nodded graciously. "Much appreciated. Come on, Duchess. Let's get you some dinner while they fix the ship." As the human walked away with his massive companion padding silently beside him, Zexthul couldn't shake one final terrifying thought. If this was what humans considered a pet, what did they consider a weapon? The answer, he realized with crystalline clarity, was something he never wanted to discover.